For years, my property sat beside a creek that occasionally overflowed during heavy storms. Instead of hoping for the best, I hired licensed engineers to design a reinforced concrete flood wall around my cabin. Every permit and inspection was completed before construction even began. Construction crews spent months building the reinforced barrier using heavy equipment and high-strength concrete. County engineers inspected every phase of the project before approving the next. I wanted the wall built to last for decades. When the project was finished, several neighbors stopped by to admire the craftsmanship. Others questioned whether such a large wall was really necessary. I simply smiled and trusted the engineering reports. During an HOA meeting, Melissa Carter criticized the project and claimed the wall looked excessive. I calmly explained that every approval came directly from county engineers. The discussion ended without agreement. A few weeks later, weather forecasts predicted an unusually powerful storm system moving toward the area. Emergency officials encouraged residents to prepare for possible flooding. Everyone hoped the forecast would be wrong. Heavy rain began falling across the county and continued through the night. Creeks rose steadily while emergency alerts warned residents about rapidly increasing water levels. I made one final inspection of the flood wall before staying inside. By sunrise, floodwater had spread across nearby streets and lower parts of the neighborhood. Emergency crews monitored conditions while residents moved vehicles to higher ground. The storm showed no signs of slowing. The reinforced wall redirected water around my property exactly as the engineers had designed. Drainage systems continued operating efficiently despite the rising floodwaters. Everything worked according to the approved plans. Across the neighborhood, several streets became impassable as water entered low-lying areas. Emergency responders used rescue boats to assist residents who needed transportation. Safety remained everyone's priority. Melissa Carter watched rising water approach the neighborhood entrance and realized the flooding was becoming much more serious than expected. County officials continued monitoring the situation. Residents followed emergency guidance. County engineers inspected the surrounding flood control systems while reviewing drainage maps and rainfall measurements. They confirmed the reinforced wall around my property was performing exactly as designed. Proper engineering made a noticeable difference. Sheriff deputies secured flooded intersections and encouraged residents to avoid unnecessary travel. Rescue teams coordinated safely with local emergency management throughout the day. The community worked together. As rainfall finally began to slow, the reinforced barrier continued protecting the cabin and surrounding landscape. Water levels remained outside the wall, while pumps and drainage channels handled runoff efficiently. The planning had paid off. When emergency officials completed their first damage assessment, they documented how professionally engineered flood protection had reduced risk on the property. The reports highlighted the value of proper planning. The findings would help future projects. Several neighbors visited once conditions improved and asked about the construction process for the flood wall. I shared the importance of licensed engineers, permits, and professional design. Many appreciated the information. Attorney David Reynolds organized copies of the engineering approvals, permits, and inspection records for future reference. Keeping complete documentation ensured every improvement remained properly recorded. Preparation always matters. The county engineering department later used the project as an example of effective flood-resistant construction. Other homeowners became interested in learning more about responsible flood mitigation. Good planning inspired others. As repairs continued throughout the neighborhood, volunteers and local organizations worked together to help affected residents recover. Community cooperation made rebuilding much easier. The difficult week brought neighbors closer together. Weeks later, green grass replaced muddy streets, and normal life gradually returned. The reinforced wall remained a quiet reminder of the importance of preparation and sound engineering. The neighborhood slowly recovered. Looking across the peaceful creek once again, I appreciated the engineers, builders, and inspectors who helped make the project possible. Careful preparation had protected my home through an extraordinary storm. Some investments proved their value when they're needed most. After the storm passed, county engineers completed one final inspection of the reinforced flood wall. Every section remained structurally sound without major damage. The inspection confirmed the wall had performed exactly as designed. The engineering report documented how the professionally designed barrier redirected floodwater while protecting the home and surrounding property. County officials archived the project as an example of effective flood mitigation. Careful planning had delivered measurable results. Several homeowners visited my property to learn how the flood wall had been designed and permitted. I explained the importance of licensed engineers, soil testing, and proper drainage planning. Preparation always begins long before a storm arrives. Melissa Carter acknowledged that professional engineering and proper permits had made a significant difference during the flood. The HOA board began discussing additional flood preparedness projects for the neighborhood. Future planning became everyone's priority. Over the following months, the county improved nearby drainage channels and upgraded several stormwater systems throughout the area. The community invested in better long-term flood protection. Lessons from the storm helped guide future improvements. With new infrastructure completed, the neighborhood looks stronger and better prepared for future weather events. Landscape green spaces replaced areas damaged by flooding. Recovery brought new confidence to the community. Attorney David Reynolds finalized every engineering record, permit, and inspection document for permanent county archives. Accurate documentation would protect future property owners for years to come. Organization matters as much as construction. The county later invited engineers to present the flood wall project during a public preparedness seminar. Residents learned practical ways to reduce flood risks.